What if I told you that studying could actually be addictive? Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me for a second. Why do some people love studying while others absolutely hate it? Why is it that some students can study for hours without complaining, while you feel drained after just 10 minutes? The truth is, it's not about intelligence, it's about psychology. Right now, you probably see studying as something painful. Something you have to do. Something that sucks all the fun out of life. But what if I told you that your brain has been tricked into hating studying? And once you understand this trick, you can flip the switch and actually want to study. Yep, you heard that right. No more procrastination. No more feeling guilty for not studying. No more last-minute cramming sessions. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to rewire your brain to enjoy studying. Using psychology, neuroscience, and real-world hacks, you'll learn how to make studying feel as fun as scrolling TikTok. Sounds impossible? Well, by the end of this video, you'll be excited to hit the books, I guarantee it. Let's get started. Why you hate studying, the hidden reason. Let's be real. Most people hate studying. And it's not because you're lazy or undisciplined. It's because your brain has been wired to reject it. Let me explain. 1. Your brain craves instant gratification. Your brain is like a dopamine addict. It chases instant rewards, things that feel good right now. Scrolling social media? Dopamine hit. Playing video games? Dopamine hit. Eating junk food? Dopamine hit. But studying? No dopamine. No excitement. Just effort. The problem? Your brain sees no immediate reward for studying. When you scroll TikTok, you get instant entertainment. When you play games, you get instant wins. But when you study, the reward is, what? A test score weeks later? A job years from now? Your brain doesn't care about that. It wants pleasure now, not success later. 2. The school system made it worse. Let's be honest. Most schools don't teach you how to love learning. Instead, they force you to memorize random facts. Pressure you with grades. Make studying feel like punishment. No wonder you hate it. When something feels forced, you automatically resist it. It's like being told you have to eat vegetables, you suddenly don't want them, even if they're good for you. School turned learning into a chore instead of an adventure. 3. You associate studying with pain. Think about this. If every time you study, you feel stressed, anxious, or exhausted, your brain learns to avoid it. It's called negative reinforcement. The more pain you attach to studying, the less you want to do it. So, what's the solution? We need to hack your brain and make studying as rewarding as social media. That's exactly what we're going to do next. The dopamine hack makes studying as addictive as social media. Alright, so now you know why studying feels like torture. Your brain craves instant gratification, and studying doesn't give you that. But what if you could trick your brain into loving studying, just like it loves social media? Sounds crazy, right? But it's totally possible. Let me show you how. 1. Turn studying into a game. Think about why video games are so addictive. Every time you level up, complete a mission, or unlock a reward, your brain gets a little dopamine hit. That's what keeps you coming back for more. Now imagine if studying worked the same way. Instead of just sitting down with a boring textbook, set up challenges for yourself. Track how many days in a row you study. Give yourself rewards after completing tasks. Create a progress bar where every chapter you finish gets you closer to a goal. Your brain loves progress. The more you see yourself improving, the more motivated you'll be to keep going. 2. Use the micro-wins trick. Ever notice how satisfying it feels to check something off a to-do list? That's dopamine at work. You can use this to your advantage by breaking studying into tiny, manageable tasks. Instead of saying, I need to study for 3 hours, say, I'll complete 2 25-minute sessions. When you finish one, check it off your list. Boom! Dopamine hit. Each small win builds momentum and makes studying feel rewarding instead of exhausting. 3. Create a study trigger. Why do you automatically reach for your phone in the morning? Because your brain has been trained, wake up check phone dopamine hit. We can create the same habit for studying. Before each study session, do something enjoyable. Make a cup of tea, play a specific song, or light a candle. Over time, your brain will recognize these triggers and automatically shift into study mode. Pairing studying with something pleasant makes it way easier to get started. 4. Track your progress visually. Your brain loves to see success. That's why progress bars, streaks, and habit trackers work so well. Use a calendar and mark off each day you study. Create a simple chart to track how much material you've covered. The more progress you see, the more motivated you'll be to keep going. It's like a game where you don't want to break your streak. Your brain is constantly looking for dopamine. If you don't give it dopamine through productive activities, it'll find it elsewhere on social media, games, or Netflix. But now, you know how to hack your brain and make studying addictive. Try it today. You might just surprise yourself. The 3-step system to actually enjoy studying. Most people think studying is all about discipline and willpower. But that's not true. The real secret is to make studying feel natural, something you actually want to do. You don't need to force yourself to study. You just need the right system. Here's a 3-step system that will change the way you study forever. Step 1. Make studying active, not passive. The biggest mistake most students make is passive studying. Reading a textbook, highlighting words, or watching videos feels like studying. But in reality, your brain isn't doing much work. That's why it's so easy to read the same paragraph 3 times and still not remember it. Your brain learns best when it's actively engaged. Here's how to fix it. First, use active recall. Instead of just reading, close your book and try to remember what you just learned. If you can't recall it, go back and review. It forces your brain to work harder, making it easier to remember. Another great method is the Feynman technique. Try explaining what you just learned in the simplest way possible, as if teaching a 5-year-old. If you struggle, that means you haven't fully understood it yet. This technique helps you break down complex topics into something simple and clear. Step 2. Change your environment. Your brain is wired to respond to its surroundings. That's why it's hard to study when you're lying in bed or sitting next to your phone. Your environment either helps you focus or kills your concentration. To fix this, create a study-only space. It doesn't have to be a fancy desk, just a specific spot where you only study. When you sit there, your brain knows, okay, it's study time. Another powerful trick is the Pomodoro technique. Study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. This keeps your brain fresh and prevents burnout. During breaks, stand up, stretch, or grab a snack, just don't scroll on your phone. Your environment also includes the people around you. If you have noisy roommates or family members, use noise-canceling headphones or play background music. A quiet, focused environment will make studying feel easier and more enjoyable. Step 3. Attach studying to your identity. Here's the most powerful mindset shift. Stop thinking of studying as a task. Instead, make it part of who you are. Instead of saying, I have to study, start saying, I am someone who loves learning. When studying becomes part of your identity, you no longer have to motivate yourself, it just becomes automatic. Think about athletes. They don't say, I have to go train. They say, I am an athlete. Training is just what I do. If you see yourself as a lifelong learner, studying will feel natural instead of forced. Start telling yourself, I am someone who enjoys learning and improving. The more you repeat this, the more it becomes true. You don't need to struggle through studying. You just need to make it active, control your environment, and shift your mindset. Once you apply these 3 steps, studying will feel less like a chore and more like something you actually enjoy. Try it out today. You might surprise yourself. The science of focus: study smarter, not harder. Most people think that the key to studying is spending long hours in front of books. But that's a huge mistake. The truth is, it's not about how long you study, but how well you focus. If you learn how to control your focus, you can study in half the time and remember twice as much. Let's break down the science of focus and how to use it to study smarter, not harder. 1. Why multitasking destroys your focus. You might think you're good at multitasking. Checking your phone while studying. Reading notes while listening to music with lyrics. Switching between 5 different tabs on your laptop. But here's the problem: your brain can't actually multitask. What it's really doing is switching between tasks super fast. And each time you switch, you lose focus and take longer to process information. Research shows that multitasking reduces productivity by up to 40%. So if you study for 3 hours while constantly checking your phone, you're actually only getting about 1.5 hours of effective study time. The solution? Single tasking. Put your phone in another room. Close all unnecessary tabs. Focus on just one thing at a time. It will instantly improve your concentration and help you absorb information faster. 2. The power of pre-commitment. Have you ever noticed that deciding when to study is often harder than the studying itself? That's because your brain hates making decisions. Every time you have to decide, should I study now or later, you're using up mental energy. And the more decisions you make, the more exhausted your brain gets. The solution is pre-commitment. Decide exactly when and where you'll study in advance. For example, instead of saying, I'll study sometime today, say, I'll study from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at my desk. When your study time arrives, you don't need to think about it, you just do it. It removes resistance and makes studying effortless. 3. Use the 80-20th rule for studying. Not all study time is equal. Some students spend hours reviewing material that won't even be on the exam. The 80-20 rule states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort. This means you should focus on the most important 20% of the material that will give you 80% of the results. Here's how to do it. Look at your syllabus or past exams. Identify the key concepts that come up the most. Prioritize those over random details. If you have limited time, don't try to cover everything, focus on what actually matters. By using this strategy, you'll study less but remember more. You don't need to study longer to study better. You just need to eliminate distractions, commit to study times, and focus on what really matters. If you apply these simple tricks, you'll be able to learn faster, retain more, and study with way less stress. Try it today. You'll be amazed at the difference. How to study even when you have zero motivation. Let's be honest. There are days when you just don't feel like studying. No matter how much you know you should do it, your brain says, not today. You procrastinate. You scroll on your phone. You tell yourself, I'll start in 10 minutes, but never do. Sound familiar? Well, the truth is, motivation is unreliable. If you only study when you feel motivated, you'll never be consistent. So instead of relying on motivation, you need a system that makes studying automatic. Here's how to study even when you have zero motivation. 1. The just 5 minutes rule. One of the hardest parts of studying is just getting started. But here's a simple trick, tell yourself you'll only study for 5 minutes. That's it. Just 5 minutes. If you want to stop after that, you can. But here's what usually happens. Once you start, you keep going. Your brain shifts from resisting to engaging, and suddenly, it's easier to continue. This is called the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain doesn't like unfinished tasks. So by tricking yourself into starting, you naturally build momentum. Next time you don't feel like studying, don't think, I have to study for 2 hours. Instead, just tell yourself, I'll do 5 minutes. You'll be surprised at how often you keep going. 2. Find your personal why. Let's be real. If studying feels pointless, you won't want to do it. That's why you need to find your why, the deeper reason behind why you're studying. Ask yourself, are you studying for your dream career? Do you want to make your family proud? Are you trying to prove something to yourself? Your reason doesn't have to be huge. It just has to matter to you. Whenever you feel unmotivated, remind yourself of your why. Write it down. Look at it daily. Let it push you forward when you feel stuck. When studying has meaning, it becomes much easier to do. 3. Use peer pressure to your advantage. Ever noticed how you're more likely to go to the gym if you have a workout partner? The same applies to studying. If you struggle with motivation, use social accountability. When others expect you to show up, you're way less likely to skip. And once you start, the momentum carries you forward. Motivation is a trap. It comes and goes, but if you rely on it, you'll never be consistent. Instead, focus on tricking your brain to start, finding a powerful why, and using accountability. Once you do this, studying will stop feeling like a battle. It will just be something you do whether you feel like it or not. Try it today. Your future self will thank you. Make studying a habit. Alright, now you have everything you need to make studying easier, faster, and even enjoyable. You no longer have to force yourself to study. You just need to follow the system and let studying become a natural part of your life. But here's the truth. Watching this video won't change your life. Only taking action will. So here's what I want you to do next. Step 1, choose one strategy and apply it today. Don't try to do everything at once. That's the fastest way to get overwhelmed and give up. Pick just one strategy from this video and apply it right now. Maybe you'll start with the 5-minute rule to get yourself moving. Maybe you'll set up a study streak tracker to build momentum. Or maybe you'll try the Pomodoro technique to study more efficiently. Whatever it is, just start with one thing today. Once you see results, you can add more later. Step 2, share your commitment. If you really want to stay consistent, don't keep this to yourself. Tell someone about your new study habit. Post it on social media, tell a friend, or even comment below. I'm going to start using strategy today. When you say it out loud, you're way more likely to follow through. Accountability makes all the difference. Step 3, keep going until it feels natural. At first, studying will still feel like a challenge. That's normal. But if you stick with it, it gets easier every day. Soon, studying won't feel like something you have to do. It will just be part of who you are. And once you get there, you'll be unstoppable. You now have everything you need to study smarter, not harder. The only thing left? Take action. Start today. Your future self will thank you. And remember, the more you study now, the more freedom you'll have later. So let's go. Make studying a habit. Your future depends on it.